You'll have to let me know when it's live.
I will. My iPad will start barking. I'll have to turn the volume down.
Okay. Well, it's live. There will be a delay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're in delay mode.
Says
Yes.
watch live now. There it is.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know. I think it's already going.
Is it working? We don't know.
I don't know. I'm on here.
I can't tell
Yeah,
on mine. Let's just start talking and then we'll probably get the delay.
Aliopa.
All right. Okay, it's working. I assume from that sound, the sound effects. Okay.
Yes.
So let's see. Today is September 4th, 2024.
Hello, everybody.
Today, yeah, hey everyone. Yesterday was the new moon, but we're gonna do, at least it was here. It might be there this morning for you guys. I don't know the exact time, because, you know, I'm lucky if I know the date. So there's that. But we're gonna go through the new moon forecast. Hopefully Nikki will jump in here and assist me this time. Because I don't think you were on here for the last one, were you? Maybe you were, I don't know.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it though. We didn't I think we were just talking about Mercury and in Leo. We only talked about it a little bit.
It's hard to know because we have so many conversations on and off the live stream.
Yeah. Well, and we don't always talk about astrology.
That is true. Today we will, at least for a little bit. What else are we doing today? So the full moon, or excuse me, the new moon is in Leo. What are they saying it is? Or what are the people saying it's in? Virgo?
Them. Yes, it's Virgo season. Virgo season.
Yes, it's definitely not right now. So before we get into that too much, I have a website full of information, SumerianAstrology.com. I have everything from Sumerian language lessons. I have astrology articles. While you're there, you can sign up for my newsletter. I've only sent 4 or 5 in the last 3 years, so you're not going to be overwhelmed by those, but that will enter you to win a free 1-hour astrology reading, and it gets you access to cool stuff that I do. Like when I did the ancient astrology course, like I just sent it out. Anybody who wanted to join in, you know, they basically had the option. So you get to do stuff like that. And there you can also sign up for my Substack in case you want to get my articles delivered to your, what is that called? Your inbox. Yes, there we go. Yes. And all my courses and readings and stuff are all on there, and they're cheaper if you go to my website than if you go to my Etsy store. All the links are in the description, by the way. And while you're there, you can definitely sign up for our Sunday meditation support group where we, yes, talk about meditation, but also every other thing that you could possibly imagine if you want to talk about that. So that is Sunday from 11 to 1 p.m. Eastern. And Friar and Nikki, would you like to tell people where they can, about your services and how they can contact you and whatnot, so we can just knock that all out?
Sure. I do natal chart readings, and you can reach me an email. My email is revolution astrology. Sorry,
with a
Gmail.
B, rebel.
Yeah, rebel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's in the description, so you can go down and just grab it there.
Okay.
Yes, link in description. Hey, Hermordu, ja, more bra. I am speaking Swedish for no real reason.
Здравствуйте, как дела, друзья?
Может быть. Боже мой. All right, I'm Fire Pezzle. I'm apparently having a meltdown. No, I'm just being silly. So what I do is all kind of esoteric stuff, really, but what I like to focus on in particular for clients would be what I like to call compassionate listening. It's a chance for you to open up and say some words with your faith meets, and I will listen. And there are surprising benefits that come from it. My information is in the show notes, and if you want to go to my website on the interwebs, you can find me at Friar Pezzle, FriarPesel, all one word, lowercase. friarpezzle.wordpress.com, or you can email me directly if you want, friarpezzle@gmail.com, and I will gladly speak to you, probably in English.
Probably, but we don't know for sure. It's a toss-up.
Jag vet inte.
Okay. Let's take a look at this thing so we can go off on various tangents and you know, have one of those days.
Yes.
So everyone knows, my neighbors downstairs are doing construction, first thing in the morning. And obviously I work in the evenings, so I didn't get a lot of sleep. And I did all of the squats and deadlifts today. So my brain is super fried. I'm
Wow.
praying that Friar and Nikki will carry most of this conversation for us. So
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
You're so funny, Fred.
Am I sharing the screen? I'm sharing the screen already.
You are sharing screen. My
Okay, let me
Yeah,
confirm the
yeah.
date. So this is technically for yesterday. I just have a random time. It doesn't matter. Actually, we'll zoom it in here a little bit. Hold on.
Look at that.
Let me back up. And oh, I probably don't need the horizon. One second, you guys. One second. You guys, do you say that in Wisconsin? Is that something that they say? You
Use guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they say use guys. My whole entire family says use guys. I don't know
Use
why.
guys and don't you know? And
Yeah.
I even caught myself typing it out. I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm trying to
Use
trying
guys
to
in
not do
that.
that.
Going up
Use
north.
guys. I know. It was I would think I was like 17 when I moved an hour south of where I lived, like, and everyone thought I was from Canada. They're like, "What? Where are you from?"
Yeah.
We're north of here. We just all talk like that.
I definitely know the pain.
Yeah, it's I'm working on it, trying to shake it, but you just can't.
You don't have to. It's adorable.
Yeah, don't go
Yeah,
changing.
don't. Definitely don't. Okay. So here we are right now. This is for the entire month. Okay. So basically what's going on whenever you have a planetary return, it's going to mark that time period and you're going to get a burst. It's kind of like taking a snapshot. And that's the one that energetically continues to impact you, although you will still get, other transits will impact you too. All of this specifically when it's affecting you, it's going to depend on your individual natal chart, like a lot. So this is for all 8 billion people on the planet. And for obvious reasons, we have to generalize. So, okay. But the moon is conjunct, obviously, with the sun. That's what gives us the new moon. Happens every month. This is here in Leo. We already, with the sun here, we're going to have dominant Leo energy. Now in Mesopotamia, we have two different things going on. From a masculine perspective, there's a little bit of connection to Shamash. So anytime you have lion symbolism, we're looking at the lion's mane with its is being representative of rays of light. So there's a little bit of that, but it doesn't go too much farther than that, other than obviously the lion would have rose during the hot, dry summer months where the sun was the most intense. But really, this was the time of the god Nergal, who was the god of war, death, and pestilence, as well as the underworld. He also was sometimes shown with having a lion's head. He would sometimes have long, scraggly hair or claws. He also had a lion-headed mace, and so the lion symbolism there is pretty strong. Now, both Gemini and Leo have Nergal meanings, as they are both guarding on either side the access point to the underworld, which was right here in Cancer. So Cancer was the big one. That was the really hot, dry season of death. Where Cancer is a little bit more internal, if not like the most internal of the constellations, at least in the Mesopotamian tradition. It starts to open up a little bit here in Leo. But Nick, you probably know more than I do. You hear things like showmanship and like wanting to be in the spotlight. I don't get any of that as far as the like on the Mesopotamian side. I haven't been able to demonstrate that in people's charts either. Now there is, what I have seen is a desire for pleasure, for adventure, but in bursts. It's not a constant. There's also a lot of sensitivity, both emotional and physical, well, across the board. So even psychic sensitivity, but Leo energy, they're going to feel everything. So if you have a lot of planets in Leo, or if you have Leo on one of especially the Eastern horizon, but anywhere on the horizon, that's definitely going to intensify some of this Leo energy. Friar, I believe you're a Leo rising, according to what Nikki said last time. I do remember.
Yeah.
Even though
You
I've
are
looked
both
at your
correct.
chart like 20 times, my brain doesn't
Yeah.
That's fine.
like freeze frame.
You're not expected to memorize it.
No.
I don't
no.
even have my own chart memorized. I have to keep
Well,
going
we're
back and-
both Leo risings. That's how I remembered. Because I was like,
Okay.
oh, we're twinning. We're
Yeah.
twinning. So, well, with
Twinsies.
the Western approach to Leo, they tell like, oh, the Leo's the big actor, the very, outspoken kind of, they paint a little bit more of a wilder picture than what I've actually been seeing with Leo or even feeling with Leo. Leo carries a lot, like you had said, of that Cancer energy over with it. So Leos are very sensitive. I feel like they're very intuitive. And the acting part, I think, comes from, feeling like those people around you, what do they need? Because Leo's very like giving and creative and loving. So I mean, that's where I find like the acting part, but
I can also see if there's a deeper insecurity, no offense to you guys with your Leo rising.
no, you're
But
absolutely right. And I think that's what keeps a lot of Leos from being like these big boisterous like lions, because they're not.
yes, with it being very sensitive, there's usually a need to want to protect yourself from like feelings in general and trying to control that stuff. Although like where you see like Mars and Sagittarius, which I do have, those people are usually much better at controlling their emotions in like the short term. But with Leo, that control seems to be not successful. Like it's not, it doesn't, it's you wanna hide from it, but you don't necessarily, you're not able to, some of this comes too from the feminine side. So this was representative of Inanna or Ishtar, and she was like the biggest of the baddest females in Mesopotamia, the goddess of love, beauty, fertility, sexuality, vegetation, creativity, and also war and victory. But here with the lion, she's much more assertive. She's more, she can be more aggressive. But it's not necessarily mean or angry, although obviously anybody has their days, right? Like we all have their days.
Yeah.
But it's definitely more of the fierce feminine, so very emotional, and not controlling the emotions requires a lot of work. There's on the Dendera zodiac in Egypt, there is an image of a female standing behind the line, or actually no, they have, is that Mahis that's back there? I can't remember now who the god is, but it's probably the same representation of the original version of Virgo who is standing back here. And that was just another aspect of Inanna or Ishtar. And in one of those images, she's holding a whip. That's the same image. It's just a male for whatever reason. I believe is it a lion-headed deity? I can't remember, you guys, right now. But trying to control the lion. And we know that Inanna Ishtar, she also rides the lion into battle. So again, there's this sitting on all of this power, creative power, destructive power, and trying to not just stay seated and master that, but also accomplish something in the process, whether that's protecting your family or, burning the world down. I don't know, whatever your goals are, I
Yeah.
guess.
Whatever her mood was. It
Yes,
can be a little moody. I find Leo can be a little on the moody side
I would
too.
agree with that. I think that
Yeah.
that's fair. But again, it's sensitivity, and it's just you're feeling all the stuff at all the times.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I do
would
think
definitely agree
Mercury's
with that.
entrance in here is probably calming things down a little bit. It is going to give us more logical balance, possibly even the ability to kind of sit down with ourselves and try to analyze our emotions and see what's going on, as opposed to just having our emotions run us. Maybe we can actually learn from some of that this month. Additionally, Venus here in Virgo in Mesopotamia, this is a much softer position of Venus. So this was Inanna Ishtar, and here in Virgo, she's acting as the grain mother, the earth mother, and one of her original meanings, she very much was a vegetation goddess, as we can see that with her consort Demuzid, who later became the vegetation god. She was much, even though she was young and fertile, she was still very loving and nurturing. So this is kind of her way back when, before she took on more of her like war and victory and success traits. So I think it softens her. Before the live stream started, Nikki was saying that she concurred with that. Like she was saying the exact same thing. Nikki, would you like to share what you told everyone? She
Oh,
thought we were recording and
oh
we'd
my
already started.
God. Oh, I'm not gonna tell my road rage story. I want to
No, you
incriminate
don't have
myself.
Yeah, we don't need evidence. No, no evidence.
No evidence. No, I was
No.
saying that I really like Venus in Virgo when she entered. It just kind of felt like a really great like time to take care of the home, get out in nature, and like kind of a nesting time. Get really good vibes with Venus in Virgo. That's why it's been brought up quite a few times that Venus is in detriment in Virgo, and like I don't get it. I don't see
I
it.
don't get it.
I'm not feeling it either. They also say that you can get a little fussy with Venus and like Virgo, like a little. I don't know. I don't feel
Did
that
they say
either.
why?
I think it's because Virgo has a reputation for being a little critical and a little like
But that
have
comes
it like a perfectionist,
from the
complex, but
the Mercury association, which I would say is an erroneous association.
you think so? I kind of really think the Mercury association sticks. I like, especially, I don't know. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm really
Well,
curious.
I think the planets fit in every one of the signs in their own unique way. I don't get
Yeah.
behind detriment or I just
Yeah, I
don't.
could never. I can't. You got to remember that. Like, I'm just not gonna remember that. And it's
My issue with Mercury, this goes directly to the planetary rulership system devised in Greece, which was, as you know, um, relatively random. They systematically uh, lined everything up, but for the most part, they chose what, the sun and the moon were going to come first with Leo and Cancer, and everything was reassigned based on that. So that's what I'm talking about. And I don't
yeah,
see the critical nature of Mercury. I don't see that at all. Intellectual, cognitive, um, analytical,
definitely.
yes.
Yeah,
Logical, rational, yes,
yeah.
sure. But it's also very creative, and a lot of people don't put those. They see like left brain, right brain. I just see brain. So, um,
Yeah, I agree about the creative aspect. I think that Earth signs don't really get enough credit for being as creative as they are. I think that Western astrology kind of just writes them off as, logical and, basically very, I don't know, like stern and bland. Like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like they don't get enough credit for being creative. It's always like the water signs are so creative, or the air signs are so, you know, intellectual and creative, but not the earth signs. You just don't, you hear that they're like stable and you can rely on them. And that's true, but I don't know. They do have their creative.
you've
Um,
been reading a lot of older astrology literature lately. Have you
oh
noticed?
God, yeah, I've been trying not to, but yeah, go ahead.
Have you noticed a progression in their meanings until now?
Yeah,
Have they gotten more or less colorful? Are they like becoming more devoid of like detail, nuance?
yeah. Well, it's almost as if they're trying to add more information or get more detailed, and it's just or even like try to, like, I have a book that was just published like last year on all of the signs, and then you compare it to like Dane Rudyard, and like it's completely different. It's just absolutely completely different in the way they talk and the way they describe things. But I mean, life has changed, you know, things have changed in the last like 100 years. So I don't know. I just like to test it, and I like to see what other people are saying. And the standard stuff is there about Virgo. But like what we learned in your course and like the ancient stuff, it's like pretty much not there. Like very little of it's there.
Yes, agreed. Okay. Well, Saturn is still where it's been for quite some time, is going to be for quite some time. So it's still traversing between Aquarius and Pisces, and that is taking us from what was a very heavy technological I would say the AI, I mean, AI has been around since like the 50s or 60s, but not, to the extent that it is now. So, but we've definitely come through a big shift. Let's see, because you guys know that I don't keep dates in my brain. Let's go back to, hold on one second. Let's follow Saturn and let's pop here. I would say probably into, I mean, no, because I put it over farther here. So the fish side, I pretty much consider when you're in the fish side of Capricorn, you're already into Aquarius. I would say right at the beginning of 2022, that's when it really started to kick off. And we're still going to be feeling it into 2026. Obviously, though, we're in the transition phase. The human race went through a, well, maybe not the race, but civilization, culture went through some changes in the last handful of years. So we're definitely moving out of that. It wasn't all bad, but it's definitely a big transition. I think that we have, especially with COVID, relied way more on technology than ever before, which in some ways is great. People learned that they didn't have to work from or work in an office to do their job. And I don't know, like a whole bunch of things changed. Now, not all of it was great, but
It's kind of funny because like I think we're the only country that makes their people work in offices and cubicles, and I've been talking to other people in other places and they're like, we don't do that.
they do
We
that
can work from
here.
home, or do
I
they do
don't,
that? Or is it like hubs where you can just kind of go and hang out with everybody who kind of like they're starting to do hubs here.
I've never seen like cubicles here. They have people have off like little offices and stuff. The thing is though, they're not obsessed with work like they are in the United States. Like your whole life doesn't depend on work. I got like people didn't understand when I came here. They're like, "What's wrong with you? Are you okay?" Like, no, I have to work. Like, why aren't you guys working? Why don't you understand? Like, this is how it's supposed. They're like, no, 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 no. Like, you just can relax. You don't have to, like, everything will be fine. And it's, I think that's more on the European side, but they do a lot of, they have like a month of paid leave. Like, you're just guaranteed a month federally. Like, you get a month to go on vacation. So they go to Egypt or they, go wherever. Um, they have, I know I've brought this up before, but they have like 3 to 6 years of paid maternity leave. So you can raise your child. Like it's just a different culture and it's laid back. So yeah, maybe still offices. I don't know anybody who works from home. I'm sure they have that, but I don't know people that would want to work from home. Like they want to be out and like talking to people and like doing stuff, but they're not being like, they're not slaving away, What were we talking about?
Technological advances in the last probably started around
Yes,
2022
and now we're back
going
to
on
this
through
year, which is what? Where are we at now? We're in August.
Yeah.
No,
September.
There we go.
September.
Yeah.
The 4th. It's the 4th.
Yes, but the new moon was on the 3rd, at least
Oh, okay.
in Egyptian Standard Time it was.
All right.
Like right first thing in the morning. So we talked a little bit about Saturn. What else are we doing here? We're going around ecliptic here. Oh yeah, Jupiter and Mars have been hanging out with each other for a little while. Mars is now getting ready to enter Gemini. I think we talked about that, didn't we, last week? How that means like all hell is breaking loose, at least as far as, the mainstream astrology is concerned.
I thought so. Yeah, maybe we did. I don't know. I just know I was making fun of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was making, yeah,
Sounds
I remember
familiar.
that. I remember making fun of that. Actually, yeah, I have like a disability. I have Mars conjunct my Mercury.
Is that like an official one? Like you
I'm
get the
thinking
handicap
it
license
is.
plate?
Yeah, I think it is. It's like it's got to be a superpower. I haven't figured out yet, but I literally have been like shaking lately, like all the time. And Mars is like on my north node. I think it's on its own north node right now too. I wonder if those planetary energies really do affect people, because I'm like, well, is it something I ate? I have food sensitivities, so. But the last day and a half, I've just been like just shaking, lots of electricity, just lots of energy.
That's interesting. It is right on its north node.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be for sure.
Yeah.
Where's your Mars in your chart?
It's in like,
I'm glad you have to think about it too.
I don't
And
remember.
I'm not the only one.
I think it's in the beginning of like Aries. It's like right at the end of Pisces, right in the beginning, like first degrees of Aries.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
But
it's,
Nikki, that goes back to the thing we talked about with Mars. If your Mars is in Pisces, you're supposed to have an awesome dad. Weren't you on that? No, you were not on that call.
I started that call with the dad thing.
Oh, that's right.
No, it's in Aries. Trust me, it's in
Okay.
Aries. So my dad
Okay.
and I have a different relationship.
Okay.
It's gotten so much better since he started eating edibles.
Sometimes
So
nature's medicine is the best
that,
medicine.
yeah, maybe there's a little bit of that Piscean energy there, in that Mars.
Yeah.
So.
Got some overlap.
Yeah, we've got some overlap.
Jupiter here in the Heidi's, that's gonna be that's just doubling up on some creativity. I would say that's a good thing. Close to Mars, I think Jupiter is probably toning down some of Mars's more deeper emotional stuff that can be really rough for people. Now, again, it's going to depend on what your chart looks like. But Mars being pulled in all four of these directions. So in the Sumerian zodiac, these right here were also Orion and Auriga were also part of the zodiac. So you're still getting pulled up here. We have Demuzid, who is the youthful vegetation shepherd, very wise and kind and considerate. He did screw up once, but I really think that was they were just trying to tell a story and they needed a villain a little bit. They had to make sense of stuff and they kind of just pigeonholed it into in the Descent of Inanna. So you can look that one up. I won't go into all of it. And then down here we have the true shepherd of Anu, and he was a messenger of the supreme celestial deity An or Anu. And generally no tolerance for wicked, but he's more of an emissary. He does act on Anu's behalf, and at times being a king himself, he has to make decisions. We see a lot of reluctant leadership with Orion, at least I do in many respects. And then Gemini, these are actually both aspects of Mars. This is Meshlam Tai and Lugalira, and they were guarding, as we talked about before, the access point to the underworld. So they are maybe actual twins, we don't know. But at a minimum, they were brothers in arms, and it's very empathic. It's very much about making family members out of friends. And so this Mars entering this will make us all very, very sensitive, especially to our close connections, our loved ones, which can be good or bad. If you are in good, positive relationships, that's great. If you're in toxic relationships, it's going to kind of, fester and force you to lance the injury and address things, which some people do. Some people would rather, deal with the problem when it comes up, and other people just like to suffer, I guess. I don't really know. I haven't figured it out. So that's how it looks like this month anyways. Friar, Nikki, do you have any questions, comments? Would you like to add anything?
No, I just think it's a nice cycle. It's a nice time for like some quiet creativity, making some connections and taking care of business at home. I don't know.
I would agree with
That's
that.
what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's a good time for that.
Yeah. Friar?
Pretty lights. So many
Yes.
pretty lights.
So many pretty lights.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about
I'm sorry, but me and Fryer have just been joking about it being Virgo season.
Yeah.
And every time he talks, I keep thinking about him saying it. It just makes me laugh. It cheered me up today, pulled me out of my funk.
Good.
I'm here for my clients in a full service capacity.
Yes.
Speaking of,
Yes.
Okay, so when you're doing compassionate listening,
Yes.
You're more in a listening capacity, right?
Very much so. Yes.
And when you get into your other program, there's a mosquito and I want to kill it so bad, but I'll never catch it. They float, they fly, they're so light when you try to grab them or so they just like slip right out of your hands.
You get a chance though, you get it.
I have
Otherwise
to because it wakes me
get
up
your
at night.
Dude, sometimes they get your face. Like you think
I
you're
would
all good
rather
and you're
get my
covered up.
face so that I could smack it because I'll smack it when I'm sleeping. But it just does flybys that night. So Okay, but anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so when you get into like deeper levels with your clients, I know that you use astrology slightly differently because you're working with the um help me, the tree of life, right?
Yes,
In
yes.
Kabbalah. Right. So you have a
It's kind
your
of,
own yeah, like you have a different system with different color coding, you know, in
yes.
different meetings and stuff. That said, do you take the actual placements of the planets and stuff into consideration? Or are you just looking at them more from like an archetype, um, you know, when you apply it to meditation or ritual or something like that?
No, I don't use planetary magic at all to start with. I use your favorite elemental magic,
Oh,
and yes, because it's
I
simple. It's
like
fun,
the elements. I like them, just not with astrology. But go ahead, go ahead.
right?
You guys, I
I
got the
don't.
mosquito. I just had to announce it. I got it. He came right back.
It's okay.
Okay, continue.
I'm
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
I'm I'm more likely to be interested in a person's enneagram for that initial battery of work
Yeah,
than
that's actually really interesting. I was kind of like skeptical at first when you were introduced me to that. I was like, is this still like human design? Am I going to have to learn like something?
no. It's
No, it's really neat. Sorry, go ahead.
um. So I guess I would just to back up a little bit. First and foremost, the compassionate listening portion of the show really truly is mostly centered around the client talking. Every the meditations that I come up with are intended for relaxation before the session, and in order to kind of de-armor and to relax and to open up a little bit inside for some more insights. It's I use sort of the Golden Dawn version of Samkhya, really, because it's just like levels of self. That's what I mean when I say, you know, the elements. I'm really using them metaphorically, because we talk about the outer, you know, physical layer, and we talk about the emotional layer and the thought layer and the layer of the will, which would be like the intellect, and then of course leading to the witness consciousness. So that's what I'm using in that regard, and I'm using certain meditations that I've taken from here and there. And if it doesn't seem to be working for somebody, I'm not going to do it. I'll shift it. I'll change it. Like Nikki gets a special blend, like I talked about before, because there were some things she did not respond to well, and I thought, okay, well that's, you know, but I got a
You broke
whole.
out into like a rash, like a meditation rash or
Oh
She
something.
my
broke out
God.
into a meditation rash. Yes, exactly. In meditation hives, and so I thought, all right, well I'll do this instead. And it works. There's there's elements of you know, hypnotic stuff there. But anyway, that's lots of words just to say that I am not using anything planetary, anything astrological in this piece, because it is really about self-examination, more Socratic methods. You know, if I notice something like a pattern or something that seems to be especially painful or difficult, I'll put a pin in it, you know, and think about it. And maybe later when it seems appropriate, I might say, hey, you know, I noticed this thing, or this piece right here seems to be kind of troublesome, and maybe we should talk about it more, but only kind of later. You know, it's
Okay.
not the first thing that happens. Anyway, sorry, that's a lot of words just to
Can I
say.
ask why you not do any planetary magic? Have you never done any or have no interest
Oh,
or?
yes, I have done planetary magic,
Oh,
absolutely. In
okay.
fact, it is my most powerful magic.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but that's later. Like, so the plan would be do the compassionate listening piece so that, you know, we can get these things out and on the table, and I can understand you better as a person, you can understand me better as a practitioner. It's my cheapest rate, so it's a good place to do that. Once that's all, you know, I think 4 weeks is a minimum. I'd like to kind of cap out at 12 weeks, just because I don't want to keep somebody in a modality forever. I don't think that's fair. And if we need to go further, we could, but then I would switch over to uh, the spiritual coaching, because at that point we go from, you know, going over the past to being a little more future focused, and saying, all right, well, you have a thing you want to do, and let's explore that. And I do it's in some ways it's the same methodology, but in reverse. Instead of going from the ground up or from outside in, we're gonna go from inside out, because I want to know what you want, and then we will work our way out to action from there.
Okay.
And then planetary magic is to support that. So let's say we get through a course of spiritual coaching and you understand what you want, and we've sort of got an action plan. The planetary magic is like a booster. It's like a turbocharger for that. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to say if you wanted to go to school, if you wanted to go back to school, we might do a Mercury planetary
Right, like
ritual.
you're applying for your doctorate, see if you can get in and stuff and in the
Yeah,
program.
just give it a boost. If if you wanted luxury goods and stuff, that would be more Venusian in my system. If you wanted to be more giving, it would be a solar ritual. If you wanted to be stand up for yourself better, be less passive aggressive. If you wanted to just really stand up for yourself, then that would be a Mars ritual. That kind of thing.
Okay.
If you wanted to buy property, then that would be a Saturn ritual.
Okay. So I have a question. Now I have like 1,000 questions now.
Yeah.
What is it about the planetary? Because I think we talked last time about why maybe astrology works and doesn't work, and theories
Yes,
and
we
whatnot.
did.
So why would, let's just say hypothetically, you're gonna go with the idea that it's not actually astrology that works, it's the astrologer. Okay. I know you're
Okay.
not 100% with that. You're just proposing, you're thinking, you're questioning reality, which is good. But let's just say you were on that page. How then would planetary magic work, but astrology not work? Because you're still, I would imagine, you're still drawing on the same planetary energies, right?
Yes, you are. Now, I would have to parse that out a little bit because of the
Parse away.
of the purpose, right? So in my overall milieu, the understanding is that you're calling on you're really kind of vibrating parts of the self. Like, I'm not talking about, although to back way out, you would say the outside is the inside is the outside. There's no real difference, but in my case, I'm focusing on sort of the internal aspect, the Mars in you, or the Venus in you, or the Sun in you. And we're going to activate that and do it through a certain set of meditations and ritual and visualization. So
Okay.
it has here's another important point. The way I do it, and I could do it a different way, but the way I do it, I don't care where Mars is in the sky, because I'm not talking about sky Mars. I'm talking about your Mars. Now, if I wanted to really boost it up, if Mars was in like a really good auspicious placement and you wanted like to turbocharge this thing, yeah, that might be good. But I'm not concerned with the moon's placement. I'm not concerned with where anything is on any chart on any sky. It's
Okay.
really about the internal component, the archetypal Mars, the archetypal Venus.
Okay, but don't you see that that's what the chart is? Like it's just on the outside instead of looking it for you on the inside.
I don't.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
In so much as, I'm not worried about the squares. I'm not worried about sextiles. I'm not worried about
Sure.
ascendants. I'm not worried about houses. I'm not worried about placements. I'm not worried about star clusters, anything. It's personal and it's internal. I'm not in this way dismissing the power of that, because if you really want to do a banger of a ritual, you would include those things, and suddenly, like, you're combining some major stuff. You got some serious
Yeah,
buffs in your skill tree there,
for sure.
for the gamers out there. But again, the way I'm doing it is not, I don't consider that immediately. Maybe later that could be like a advanced super duper
Mm-hmm.
Terribly expensive ritual,
I'm sure somebody wants one. I'm sure there are people that want one.
but
So
that would be like a full-on Golden Dawn, black robes, you
yeah,
know, circumambulation, banishings, oh plenty, and then, you know, invocations and the whole schmear.
I feel like you haven't been on Etsy to check out their spell section
Yeah,
because
I was gonna say it
they're
sounds
charging like
like
hundreds of thousands of dollars for those exact spells.
Right.
So
Whereas I feel guilty for charging, you know,
I
I don't
know
know, $500 for a planetary magic, but
it's just an energy exchange, you know. It helps. It helps from the mind of somebody who's paying for something like that. I know because my mom does spells and I think what she charged
right.
like 450, something like that. But she does a 30-day spell for everybody. And it comes with like, you know, she'll check in with them once a week and do like readings for them and stuff. But she does something every day. She builds them an altar. She's out there, she's, you know, whatever she's doing, talking to Steve.
yeah.
I don't
Stalking Steve,
know.
yeah.
I love
So
your mom.
I want to add something that I think maybe will give you a little more perspective. It's a thing that you
Okay.
know, but I'm going to bring it into this conversation in
Yeah,
order
do it. Do it.
to sort of add to this little, you know, stone soup we got going.
Hold on.
I'm a webmaster for esoteric people, right? So I have people who are into transurfing, which is like Vadim Zelensky's wacky Russian, um, basically, I guess you call it quantum jumping, you know, moving
Yeah,
from timeline to timeline.
that's
Um,
real.
in addition to other modalities, I have a black magician that I work for, right? And I have another guy who's into like conspiracy, this and that. And that's what I'm saying here is I am exposed to lots of modalities. I'm exposed to lots of
Hmm.
systems that don't necessarily play nice together, right?
Right.
So this is sort of the origin of my thinking about, is it the system or is it the operator? Because these people all have various systems and they're rather different. And I have my own, and it doesn't comport with what they're doing either. Now, I could talk about the philosophy of that. I mean, what is it? There's one truth, and the wise speak of it differently. That's fine. That works for me. But I tend to just work. I'm trying to work with things that I know, that I understand, and that I in fact believe in. Right? I have done planetary magic for people and had real results, like big fat results. I have made up spells in the moment to get results. I did a Saturn spell on a dude who was trying to sell my gullible dad something, and I basically, my intention was to get the Saturn was in retrograde, and I thought, okay, let's do this, because Saturn in my milieu would represent sort of like limits. And I was like, and if Saturn's in retrograde, I'm gonna flip that and make it unlimited. I want this guy to not shut up. I want this guy to tell the truth without being able to stop himself from telling the truth of what he's trying to like rip my dad off on. And he did. And I heard him say from the other room, I don't know why I'm talking so much. But
Love
that
that.
is to say, you know, for me, these applications of planetary energies make a certain sense to me, given the system that I use. And it's internally consistent, and I think that matters, for me at least. It matters a lot more because I have faith in it. And once I have
Yes.
faith in a thing, then I believe, this is a belief, I believe that it opens up something in the operator and does allow access to these esoteric energies. I just believe that.
Well, so we talked about this before. Is it the system or the operator with astrology? I think a little bit is, well, I think it should be predominantly the system, like it's information. But when it
Right.
comes to magical practice, I think that that's not the case. I think it's predominantly the power is in the practitioner. And mainly the belief, as you said, which is why people can die from thinking somebody cursed them. You know, some old
Yeah.
lady snatched your hair in the grocery, which they do that here, you guys. Snatched your
They
hair while you
do?
were standing in
Dude.
line at the grocery store and just like smile and take your hair and like walk away. Then nobody's snatched my hair because I, you know,
You keep it up really nice. So.
Well, I guess I'm protecting myself from like gypsy curses or whatever. But
Did not shrink me.
yeah. But confidence is huge. Especially in a magical, like when you're doing any type of, now granted, I'm not like the ritual magic expert over here. I'm a savage magic practitioner. And I don't really do it that much. I mean, I would say do it in like a regular basis, but I do it differently through communication with like my spirit guides and my deities and stuff. And it's just different types of energy work. But that said, like when you can do a spell on the spot like that, some of it is coming from knowledge, but just like you said, you're using these symbols outside of yourself to access different portions of your psyche and to like tap into your own personal power or divine power, whatever you want to, call it. In which case it would be the operator that has more of the power. At least I would think so. That said, I'm sure there's people out there, but I don't know, because I'm a data person. I don't have any stats on this. So like maybe you can tell me. But if you just sit some, ritual in front of somebody, you hand them like a piece of paper, like with a ritual on it, and they do it. Do you think, like, what are the chances of them having any type of result from that? Now, but wait, let me preface this.
Sure.
I'm not talking about like some terrified, shivering, kid out of Catholic school who's like, oh God, I'm summoning Satan. Because they're probably going to get some sort of reaction, right? Because they're so
like
terrified.
The Bloody Mary thing,
Yeah.
When you say Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror and then you scream at your own.
Yeah. So like not that, but just somebody totally unbiased, maybe, I don't know, like some scientist or something who's not super skeptical, but open, and you just hand them a piece of paper with a ritual. Like, how do you think their results are going to be?
Great question. And I do need to pause.
Okay.
No.
Can I say something? It just kind of reminds me of me
for
when
the love
I
of
was
God,
like,
please do.
Yeah, when I was like a little girl, I was so into magic. And of course, found all like the ritual magic books, like the really fairy, ones and the moon ones. And I would practice doing all those spells. And of course, like, I don't think anything was really happening,
Ever?
No, not at all.
That's
No,
interesting.
yeah, not ever. But I think it was just fun and play for me anyway.
Well, did you believe it?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, when it comes to like desire and really what you want, I mean, I didn't really want that. Like, most of the time I just wanted like pizza, like silly stuff. I wasn't like thinking
So, like,
about
what was an
mansions
example
and money.
Is that where you were
and,
trying to get with your spells?
Well, I just do whatever the book said,
Oh, okay.
So it was
Well,
like, oh my God, I'm my crush, I'm in 5th grade and my crush is like, I want him to like me back. Like I would do like a little spell and nothing.
Okay. So Nikki's a perfect example. She
yeah,
sort of believed, sort of didn't believe,
sort of believes, sort of.
She got handed the spells. Now we could say that the spells sucked, right? But maybe
the spells did suck. They were
maybe,
just from like the library.
well, that could have been it, I guess.
But as I got older, though, I did develop my own like way of doing things, my own way of magic. But it was never spells. It was mostly like communication and like knowing and stuff like that.
I gotcha.
I still do candle magic though.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Does it work?
And yeah, it does.
Okay.
But only when I'm doing something that has to do with like cutting cords, letting go, like, I haven't been able to manifest that winning lottery ticket yet, so I kind of gave up on that.
Okay.
But cord cutting and all that shit works. So
I gotcha.
After this segment, by the way, I want to read some chats. Just
go ahead.
Mentioning that.
Yeah.
But
Hi everyone in the chat. Sorry, I can't see the chat. I have no idea what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Chat? I'll get back to that, but I want to answer your question.
Okay.
So I think there are levels of efficacy and power, right? I think a very low level of efficacy, that's a funny word, and power would be your example of like random dude, hand him a slip of paper with a set of instructions. and they might see some results at all, but I think that's probably the lowest level of efficacy, right? An example I think about in this regard, I had a friend who was very concerned because she knew of someone who had attempted an erotic binding ritual on her significant other. And what she did, this person, was to take her uh, underclothes that had menses in them, and pour tea through that into a cup, and gave that tea
Ew.
to yeah, to
Why
her
isn't anybody hygienic anymore? I'm sorry. That's okay. I mean, he didn't know though. Like,
he did not
if
know.
he knew and he liked it, then it would be like this would be a different story.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Okay, go on.
so the great concern was,
Curious.
OMG, this person is dabbling in great evil magic,
Mm.
and the expected response that I think my friend wanted was for me to go, you're right. It's just, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I don't think that's going to be all that powerful. And it might have some power at all, but maybe not a lot. And I say this because there's more to it than physical action, right? If you want to look at the different levels of self, the more of that you engage, the more powerful this thing is going to become. Now, this person who did the tea ceremony might have had a belief in that, and that would have, added to the power of it. But if this person was adding like meditation beforehand, really opening up, charging up themselves in some way first, making sure that they visualize the results, making sure that they felt the feelings they would have if this thing happened, really lining up all the pieces of themselves like tumblers in a lock to get this thing to go, yeah, then shit's gonna happen.
Okay.
But I think that's a higher power version of
So more
same
advanced is
stuff.
what you're
Yeah,
saying.
more advanced, more powerful, meaning you've got more of yourself in it, and it's going to be far more potent. And you could add more to that. You could do it during an auspicious time of the moon or time of
Right.
Venus or what have you. So you can add levels and levels and levels and increase the power. That is how I look at it. I think that just following a spell like a recipe, you might get a little fizzle. And some people get like enormous, out of control, like Sorcerer's Apprentice type results. That does happen. It happened to a friend of mine. Like
Okay, I need to know what happened. Like after he drank the cup of tea.
oh, I
What
don't know.
happened?
No
Frankly, I
one
don't know.
will never know.
Nobody
Nikki.
will ever know.
I strongly suspect he said, ugh.
Yeah. Oh,
This is
I kind
bad
of
tea.
I don't know. I scoff at the love spell stuff. I mean, and some of those spells are that's just not the connection. I think if you're a smart practitioner,
I think it's
you'll
a
know
poor
where your
choice.
connections are.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah. Oh, I hope we don't give any of our viewers any ideas.
Right, yeah, yeah.
For
I
you
guess
to love
disclaimer:
spell.
don't do that.
Disclaimer.
Keep your Shark Week panties on, please.
Did you call them
Thank you.
Shark Week panties?
Yes, I did.
Oh my
Oh, that's
God.
funny.
Sorry.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
And so, oh, Bootsy Greenwood is in the chat. Perfect timing. Sweet
Hey,
Jesus.
Bootsy.
Oh God.
Just in time.
Sweet baby Krishna in the butter. All right, we're gonna
Oh
read
my
some
God.
chats
That's a
now.
good one.
Yeah, let's do chess.
All right. Root Wisdom, who I think is Kat, said,
Yeah.
Abby, how much do you deadlift? How much do you deadlift?
Oh yeah. I'm
like
curious.
my 1 rep max. I don't know right now. So what is 85 kilos? Can someone do that for me?
Oh man.
I do
I don't know what that is.
10 sets of 5 at
Like 200 pounds, I think.
No, it's not. It's probably like 150 or less than that, like 100. I don't know. I don't know.
It's
85.
2.2. It's times 2.2.
So somebody do it for me. So I don't know what the 1 rep max would be then. So I have no idea. I tried to use these calculators. I think they're full of it. Oh, stand by, guys. I have to go check my child is asleep. She started school,
Okay.
so like I have to be responsible, ma'am. I'll be right back.
Bootsy says 187 pounds, by the way.
Oh my God.
Thank
That's
you,
a lot.
Bootsy. The human
I-
calculator, Bootsy Greenwood.
Yeah. She can
everyone
deadlift
should
almost 200 pounds.
everyone should check out Bootsy Greenwood's channel, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I have been checking it out. It's really good.
It's really
Where is
good.
the chat? Oh, there's the chat. All right.
There's the chat.
Found it.
Okay, so Bootsy says 187 pounds.
Wait, what?
That's what Bootsy says. Are you calling Bootsy a liar?
I think there's no way it's that much.
I bet it is.
I'm really impressed
You're
with myself if that
You're
was going on.
strong. You are strong.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. I thought me lifting my like little 15-pound weight was pretty good.
I'm
I haven't joined a gym yet though. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to be like that social, you know.
Who do you talk to? Nobody, you don't have to talk to anyone.
Do you
at
go to the gym? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I
Nobody
joined a gym
talks to
before,
me.
and
No one talks to
everybody
anybody.
texts me. Oh, maybe I should I gotta just perfect that face, the resting bitch face.
Yes, it's
Nobody will
called
talk to
a
me.
Russian woman face. That's what that's called.
Ugh.
I forget you're in Russia sometimes. Yeah, they're not like
Bozhe
super
moi.
social there either, are they? They're not like
No, people are.
everyone.
They're very
pretty
friendly,
nice.
but they don't look approachable. So everyone just looks pissed off all the time.
I had
Until
a
you
Russian.
talk to them, and then they'll like cheer up and smile and stuff.
Yeah, I had a Russian client for a few years, and she had married an American soldier and like moved over here, and she was like, I was on the phone one time with my mom, and my mom's like, you need to stop smiling so much. Because she's like, but I'm happy. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I had to
totally
retrain my
different
face
cultures.
when I came over here because, like, I lived in the country, so like that's where you smile and wave to everybody you pass in the car because you don't see a lot of cars. So like when you do, you're like, oh, hey neighbor from like 10 miles away.
Yeah.
So like when I came here, I was smiling at everyone, and everyone's like they think you're on drugs,
We have another question in the
Yes.
chat. Venus in no, I'm sorry, that's Nikki. Haha, I should read the actual Kat.
Yeah, because Kat had said she has her Venus in Virgo, and I said, well, that's the best. Actually.
She asked, good month for travel or a road trip. Good month for travel or a road trip.
I would say yes. I think strong Leo results in good adventures and fun. Just don't overdo it. That's all. And it may be harder. So Venus even though I don't get behind the Venus like for sure is related to the home because of all the like Greek associations. The way I look at it is Venus is kind of, or not Venus, Virgo. Virgo is like a plant type of energy, the earth mother energy. And so there's a desire to root yourself in that, in like obviously a human context results in the home and just kind of wanting to curl up and be there. So it may be harder to leave and actually get yourself to go do that stuff, which explains some things now that I think of it. Like the thought of going on vacation, I'm like, oh no. What else do we got over there?
That was I think the questions, and there were lots of statements.
Comments? Are there statements? Let's hear the statements.
There are statements. Yoga with Janie Rose says Leo Sun, Leo Moon, and Venus in Virgo here.
Oh, is she still in there? How's your month going?
I don't know if she's still here.
Okay, well, if she is, let us know like how it's influencing you, because this is all you. Like this is your space.
Yeah, I'm curious how.
And happy
the
birthday.
Retrograde. Yeah, happy birthday. I'm curious how the retrograde went for her. I'm not into the whole Mercury retrograde made me do it stuff. I'm not. But this last one had me cutting my bangs. I was like going crazy. I was like,
that is crazy.
Doing all the stupid like Mercury in retrograde shadow crazy stuff. I was like, what is this? I was like, I'm not.
Yes.
Just to clarify, it was 60 kilos. I was, for some reason, the bar's 45 pounds. So then I had to do that to kilos, and then, which is 20. So then it comes out, it's like, what did I just say? 60?
Like-
Yeah, so what is that? I'm
so it's
doing
like-
a pounds. Oh, it's 132. Yeah, I didn't think it was that much. But I'm sure my 1 rep max is much higher, but I don't know what it is. Okay, sorry.
You are still strong like Sikorsky.
That's nice of you. I appreciate
It's
that.
true. Bootsy would like to know, when does the moon enter Cancer?
Oh, like next year. So, oh, the moon.
Next
Okay,
year.
Moon. It
Okay, no.
will enter Cancer next year. That is
It's
technically
got some
accurate.
time. It's got some
Okay.
time.
Yes. Okay.
It's
Yes.
in
So
Virgo right
it's
now,
like in a month
so-
from now. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. 1 second, you guys. What am I doing? I'm sharing the screen. Share.
What's so special about moon in Cancer?
Maybe Bootsy has a love interest that
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm making things up.
Okay. Let's see. Hold
Yeah.
on. You guys.
Maybe Bootsy wants to know when to go to Torchy's that just opened in Atlanta, and it's a good choice to eat at.
Oh my God.
What is
That's
it?
amazing.
Torchy's tacos. When they first opened the restaurant, it's really delicious. Go see. It was my favorite taco place in Austin,
Oh
Texas.
my
When I lived there.
God. I love tacos. I actually I have to give up tacos, guys.
Oh.
I'm having a corn allergy.
Oh
So there's
no.
I actually really cried hard about that.
The
No more
tacos.
tacos. Yeah.
They
yeah.
make alternative tortillas. Look into it. in my
Yeah.
opinion.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm like, gosh, like not even corn now. Like, what are they doing in this
No one
country
really
to
should
the
eat
food? Is
corn,
it
though.
the yeah, I'm figuring that out.
It's-
Yeah. It's not
I'm-
really.
I'm told it's not the
No.
corn so much as the fact that it's GMO corn that was genetically modified in order to
Probably.
get sprayed to the ass with glyphosate
Yeah.
and not die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's,
also
I mean,
no, but no, there's more to it than that.
Okay.
We weren't like no humans were designed to really eat it. And if you look at like the old traditional
Mm.
methods of cooking, they broke it down like they turned it into paste. They fermented it a little bit first before they would actually even start to make flour out of it. So some of it comes to like it's not the proteins in there, they don't work with our bodies so much.
Okay.
Somebody's got a really good book on that. What is it called?
Like lectins kind of thing.
Probably all kinds of stuff. I think it's called Eat Like a Human. Who wrote that book, you guys? By the way, September
It'll be
26th is when the moon goes
yeah.
into Cancer. Okay.
Okay.
Eat
Bootsy says he's
like-
making a love potion, so we have now
There we
enabled
go.
him to do an erotic
Nice.
comment.
Nice. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
He
my
has
karma.
to let us know how it goes. Oh my God.
Do it
That's
up, Boots.
interesting.
Owen.
I don't know. I
Doctor-
busted out. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead. Doctor who?
Bill Schindler. Eat Like a
Okay.
Human. It's great. Okay, continue.
We were just saying words and phrases.
Yeah. No, eat like a human. Yeah, I'm upset. I guess I've been eating really clean. Since you guys know I was sick and I was eating really clean, like just fruits and vegetables and meat and like water, coffee, like plain, like easy. And then I had like corn on the cob and like that was it. I don't fit in my pants anymore.
I got a
It
question
sucks.
directed to me.
Ooh, what's
Yes.
it?
MM says, Friar, have you read the Picatrix? I have not. I know of it. It's it's a grimoire like many.
Yeah, I had it. I owned it once and I paged through it. But I couldn't tell you anything about it. I don't
Is it any
remember.
good? Is it interesting?
It's interesting to whoever wants to practice that, but I didn't find it. I go by feeling a lot, so and I touched it and I picked it. I was like, just wasn't for me.
Right.
Yeah.
For my part, I find those things interesting. If I was going to read any of that material, it would absolutely be the 3 books of occult philosophy by Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. I think that is far more useful and certainly source material for the Golden Dawn. Grimoires, things like the Ars Goetia, the Minor Key of Solomon, or the Grimoire of Saint Cyprian, or there's a bunch of them. I don't think that is a thing to jump in right away, and I would even go as far as to say I shouldn't probably be using that stuff yet. I would want to wait.
Until what?
Hmm?
Until what?
Wait,
love
and
it. I love it, Abby. You're like, don't wait, just
Yeah.
go,
like,
do
what
it
are we-
anyway. Fuck it.
So
I would-
what are you waiting on?
Summon something, shit, make it work.
I would be waiting on me to be in the appropriate grade, first of all. And secondly, those are the kind of rituals that you are most likely to drive yourself crazy with. Like if you and people jump straight into that stuff, and I'm like, Oakley dokley, and then they're like on YouTube talking like they've been hit on the head with a spud wrench because they drove themselves nuts. So not especially appealing where I'm at. Also, I will say the magic that I use, I'm comfortable with it. I like it. I don't think it's dangerous. It's effective, and it doesn't rely on any number of things that a grimoire type ritual would rely on. I can do it anywhere, anytime, with what I'm wearing. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
A lot of the
I have
grimoire stuff requires some specialty tools, and depends on how far you really want to take it, because you may end up doing bad things to animals in order to get the tools you need, and I'm just not into that.
Oh, no.
What were you
Yeah,
gonna say,
that's-
Nikki?
I was just gonna say, like, if somebody is interested in practicing magic and they've never practiced it before, and they're only going off by, what they've seen on TV and what they've heard, like, what would you recommend besides meditation to begin with? Like, what would you recommend? What type of reading, like, what type of like rituals would you recommend for somebody who's brand new, or not even brand new, or somebody who's just like, oh, this isn't working. Like, how do I get to work?
What I would recommend?
Yeah, what would you recommend for
Oh.
like newbies, like entire newbies?
Entire newbies that want to
Yeah.
do magic.
I mean, they know a little bit. I mean, I'm sure like that's why they're into it. That's why, they read books by like Crowley and all these other,
Um,
names that are popular, and they're interested. Like, where would you direct them? I guess it would depend on, if they wanted to be light or dark. Is there like an in-betweener state, like an in-betweener magician? Like sometimes
Tweener.
it's black, sometimes it's light,
The
you know?
shortest book I know that has the magic that I in fact use, is in fact Israel Regardie's the Art of True Healing, which is super short. And if you do that, you could also start with the 1 year manual, also by Israel Regardie. There are two versions though, because his publishers are trying to get him to turn it into like Christian magic, and he did it because he was kind of under
Because
their
of
advisement, and they're like, you make money because it's a much larger audience. And then later he was like, you know what? No, here's the actual version I wanted to put out. And it has rituals in it, and it's not super long. It's not going to take you forever. If there's also a lot of good material in any of Regardie's books, like The Garden of Pomegranates is good. The Tree of Life, a Study in Magic is good. The Middle Pillar is good. Any of those books I'd recommend. But in terms of like short and sharp and getting to the point, The Art of True Healing is hard to beat. Now I know there's people who are into like the new Avatar Power book, but I got a secret for you. That was stolen almost completely from The Art of True Healing. So don't
Avatar
worry.
Power Book. What is that? What is that?
It's
Avatar. Ugh.
it's
Oh,
a book
sorry, I can't speak.
this guy wrote a bunch of books, and they were occult books, and they weren't especially great, but this one book he wrote was like the new Avatar Power, and I'm sorry I can't remember the author, but it was his most popular book by far. And he has these rituals in it, and it's sort of a mix of Goetia meets The Art of True Healing. And his primary deity is Dihe Thuth, which is sort of like a Thoth Tahuti type thing. um it's not bad. It is genuinely directed towards the person off the street. But I would say, if you dig that, just get Art of True Healing, which is way shorter, has a whole lot less fluff in it, gets to the point, and has some serious magic in it that
Does
works.
this
That works,
in
works, works.
the new Avatar Power? Does he talk about his deity? Does he bring him in like a lot? Does he channel any of it?
There's a ritual that you have to do for Thuth, and it's funky, and he describes this way of tracing a thing in the air. And there's actually quite a lot of internet chatter about what exactly the shape of this thing you draw in the air is, because it's not entirely clear by his
Well,
instructions.
who is Dihe Poof.
I think it's
Oof.
his. I think he's talking about like Thoth. I think he's referring or Tahuti, if you will, the ibis-headed Egyptian god.
Okay.
I will actually try to
Now
look
I'm
up.
curious. I don't know. There's sometimes I hear about these people who just take somebody else's work and spin off on their own thing, and I just think, are
It
they
kind of
full
is
of
that.
shit? You know, are they just full of shit? Are they just weird and crazy and like they're
I
just
don't.
I don't know. Like I'm curious now. I like to look at their work and
The Miracle of
rightly
New
judge it.
Avatar Power
Silent.
by Jeff Gray Cobb.
Okay.
And I've read it. I read the whole thing.
What did you really
I
the
thought
miracle?
this looks real familiar. Because I'd read The Art of True Healing, which again, much shorter and much more to the point,
You're like,
and
this
no
is
DH
really
Thuth.
and no DH.
But
That's what
so
bothers me is when people throw in these deities, these special deities.
yeah, another
I don't
thing
know.
is
I just think of like energy robbing right away. Like,
what
no.
he does. It's obviously for newcomers because
Hmm.
it is so heavily interspersed with like examples that are like Jamie was at his job and suddenly he was fired. He didn't know what to do. Jamie searched and searched and had no idea what to do. And then he found the miracle of new avatar power. Jamie says,
Okay.
and it's full, like the book is packed with those
I
things.
hate
Yeah,
that.
but
I
he
cannot stand those books that are like that type of narration. Oh, it drives me insane. Like,
Yeah, you would not love this
yes,
book.
no.
well,
But
he wrote it originally. It published in '74, and Regardi, he was publishing books in like the '60s, wasn't he? Like '50s,
he started
'60s.
in the 30s.
Oh, wow, way off. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, he was Aleister Crowley's secretary.
Yeah, I forget. I forget. Yeah.
So he goes on back. And Regardi was friends with Neville Goddard. In fact, they were in the army together. So what's super interesting is that they had very different systems of magic, very, very different.
Yeah.
And they were friends, but they were both kind of skeptical of each other's like methodologies, but yet they both worked. I know that Regardi was like freaked out about what Neville was doing. Like
I think
bad.
that goes to like finding a system that works for you,
Yeah.
you know.
So
What you'll get more power out of the one that you probably just like better and resonate
yeah,
with.
if it clicks with you, I think that's the best bet. And you, as you are fond of saying, Abby, you will change your mind over time.
I would hope so, because that's a good indication of
Yeah.
growth and an
So
open mind. So
you don't often finish where you start.
Yeah.
Kat says, I think people should have a handle on what they are doing with magic. Who or what are they conjuring? Self-awareness, intentions, the bigger picture, all important. And Bootsy says, that's so cool. I had no idea.
I say,
what do you say?
I would say, fucking go for it. Just get,
That's
talk
right.
to summon whatever you're trying to summon or whatever you're trying to do, just do it. But you guys know I'm like a straight to the point type of person. That goes with magical practice too. Like,
Yeah,
here's what I want. Like, listen, if you are the creator, you don't technically have to go through any of those hoops. You can just go right to the thing. And Neville Goddard says, in all of his, little people, his devotees who agree, or whoever he got it from, I don't even know. I'm sure he didn't just come up with it by
I know
himself.
exactly where he got it from.
But
Where did
tell
he get
me
it
in one
from?
second. No, wait,
Tell
hold
me.
on. Let me finish what he said first, and then
Okay,
tell us where he
sorry.
got it from. What he say? It's just as easy to like manifest like a ladder as it is to manifest like $1 million, like whatever
Right.
like it doesn't matter. It's all in your mind. Like however hard you think it is, because this one thing so far has seemed really far out of reach, it's just as easy to manifest that hard thing as it is some super easy thing. It's the same mechanism.
Right.
It's just the limitations in your mind. So go ahead. How did he get it? Where did he get that idea from?
So I find this to be fascinating because both Israel Regardi and Neville Goddard were working off of very similar sources, because Regardi used a lot of Kabbalistic magic. And Neville Goddard's tutor was Abdullah, the Ethiopian Kabbalist. So they were both interpreting Kabbalistic magic in two vastly different ways. And
So
Joseph
how,
Murphy, if you've heard of Joseph Murphy, he was also a devotee of Abdullah.
so how do you go from like uber ritualized, Kabbalistic everything, to just being like, no, just manifest it.
Because Israel Regardie was a psychologist and he valued the scenic route because he wanted to make sure that he did not drive people crazy. Neville didn't seem to mind. And
How many people
frankly,
did Neville drive crazy though?
you should go on YouTube and look at like Neville devotees. They got some funky looks in their eyes half the time.
Well, is
So
it because they're blissed out and happy?
maybe, but I will also say this. If you really study Neville, like beyond just the popular stuff,
Uh-huh.
he had some really interesting ideas that are just beyond, like moving through dimensions and all kinds of like some, especially later in life, his belief system took an interesting turn, and it's not just about manifesting at all. He's talking about like becoming Jesus born again in your skull, and like it's rather vibrant and colorful, let's just say. So
Okay. Did he eat mushrooms? Like,
Well, he was a
that
mystic, right? I
he was a
mean,
mystic, but I don't think he did. I mean, I can't say for sure. He was from Barbados.
he ate some
I
mushrooms. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he probably did.
if he
yeah,
did, I'm not aware of it,
He
and he never spoke of
smoked the ganja
he
a
was
couple
an
of times.
Aquarius sun, so
There you go.
yeah,
He's an innovator.
Yeah, oh
he's an
yes.
innovator.
But Neville talks about his like when he basically used manifestation to get himself out of the army. He was in the army with Israel Regardie. Like they were in the same, you know, company division, whatever. They were, bunkmates basically, and Israel was super surprised that Neville was able to do this. Now later on, when Neville was doing his like super duper heavy duty manifestation magic, Neville describes watching Israel Regardie like gripping the back of a chair as hard as he can and driving his feet into the carpet as hard as he can in order to not sort of etherically take off into the space that Neville was using. Like Israel was fighting it with every inch of his life. He apparently didn't trust it.
Well,
But
okay, so if you're scared of a system though, like if you're afraid of something, you're more likely to go crazy or have some like bad results, right? Wouldn't you think?
yeah, maybe so. If you bring fear with you to a ritual, it's usually not going to go great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna
don't
say
go to
that.
that.
It's like
Stay home.
But
being scared to drop, and then you like, of course, you're not gonna have a good time. Jeez.
I
Yeah.
find it to be a good example of finding the magic that suits you as a person, because apparently Neville and Israel Regardie were very different people and they needed different things, and that's okay. I'm not opposed to that, because in part because I don't want someone telling me that like my shit is stupid and broken, I'm of the devil and all that happy horse shit. I'm not having it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's demonstrably false though. Like you can, logic your way out of that conversation if you needed to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can. It's pretty easy actually.
I don't know. I've been trying to watch what I say. A lot of people have been getting so upset when I talk about how I feel about religion.
Got more,
That means
Trying to
keep
speak.
talking about it. That's a
Yeah,
good sign that
I've
it's
always, yeah. Well, I'm trying to give people something to think about, because it's like, well, if you give your power to something outside of you, then where is your power? It's inside. And I'm just trying to show people like that's not what they were talking about. Like, I don't know. I think they just use, well, and I think maybe where I live, people like to use religion, just, I don't know, to control other people. It's not because they really believe it, not because they really like go to church or anything. It's just, I don't like what you're doing, so I'm going to use this faith that I was taught to, shame you or control, use it to control you. And
are they
I
doing
just
it
don't
because
like
of
it.
astrology?
Oh, no. There's not a lot of there's like an underground astrology like
Oh, okay.
movement in my towns, but those people are so hard to find.
Did you
Nobody
say
really.
Green Bay is a town? Did I hear that?
Well, yeah, it's a town city. Like,
How
it's
many
really
people are
big.
there?
too many now. I mean, way too
Yeah, I
many. We
have to
got the
look it
NFL
up.
draft coming next year. So a lot of people are like renting out their houses. They're taking off for the week. Um, Tons of homes have been bought up, so people can actually like stay somewhere. It's like so creepy and weird how big it's blown up.
Says
I gotten a message too.
106,000.
That's just Green Bay. We have like
Oh, like suburbs and
little
stuff.
suburbs and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, and it's
gotcha.
spreading out. So now we have like Howard and Ledgeview, and it's blowing up. It's
Okay.
huge. So I wanted to get out of here. I've been trying to get out of here for like ever, because I'm like, nobody wants to like live where they were born, forever. But
In
I don't know.
relation,
Go ahead.
okay, so I went through something similar. So all my family is uber Catholic, and as you guys know, I was going to be a nun and stuff. So I have a big mouth, and I tell people what I think, and that is not well received. So especially even like by your loved ones and stuff. But I continued to talk and like ask questions, like where do you think that comes from? Because I was
Yeah.
told I was worshiping the devil and all, the same
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. Like, it's all whatever. And then when you ask them why, like, and you go right to the sort, like, why do you believe this? Well, because the Bible says so. Well, what does the Bible say before that? Like, what are some of the other things that the Bible says? And
Yeah.
they don't know,
Yeah.
and they don't want
Yeah.
to
They
talk about it.
cherry pick. Yeah. They
Yeah,
cherry
absolutely.
pick the stuff that they think they understand.
Well, I have noticed, and it wasn't, I'm not like, I cannot take credit for it, but some of the people in my family who were on that trajectory, and like people around me too, but I'm using them because I had like thousands of cousins. Some of those people went down very different roads philosophically than they started out. And I was definitely an influence on them, even though they were very combative in the beginning. So like I know the value, I've seen the value of having those conversations and not letting people silence you. Even like some of them are very, very mean. Like really, really
Yeah.
cruel.
Yeah. And I think they want, like, I don't know
It's
what they
validation.
want, but yeah, that's exactly it. And I'm not denying that there like isn't a God. Like, I'm not saying that. And I've had a lot of people be afraid of me and the astrology, and I'm like, well, why? I'm like, oh, it's like, I don't know, I heard it might be like satanic or something, and I'm like, what the hell no. If anything, I'm always trying to prove shit. If anything, it proves that God is real. There is a power beyond you, beyond all of us that we don't know about. And they left us a trail. Like, here's a little timestamp, a little like, little
Yeah.
compass, little map for you, like, hey, we can't always be here for you to comfort every little like, qualm
And
you have, but here you have this chart, like you have something to go off of, and it's a map. I'm like, I love
not
it.
just that, but all of the ancient scientists, like all the scholars, scientists, priests from the Bible, King David, they were all
Yeah, they were
they
all
had
astrologers.
yes, they had to know because back then that was just science and that's how you did stuff.
Well, it
There
was more
wasn't
than
anything.
science. I mean, there was a lot of spirituality connected to it, with the gods, and I think maybe there came a point in time where we had a big superpower. How do we control the masses when we have gods all over the place? And they kind of just condensed it down to just, oh, you only have one God, and you better believe there's only one God, or God damn it, he's coming to
Yeah.
get you. So that just tells me that, oh, there's more than one, like, who's he pissed off at? Like, I don't know. I mean,
Well,
it just doesn't make sense, and then when you
no,
find
it
out
doesn't.
that
It doesn't.
it
Which is
was
why you
just,
should have those conversations. Don't let people
yeah,
silence you.
yeah, no, I don't.
Yes, do talk.
Trust me, I
There,
don't.
Kat had something to say in the chat.
Yeah, yeah.
She said, manipulating someone else's free will doesn't sit well with me, and not a fan of Aleister Crowley. And to that, I would say, I agree with your first statement. I find Crowley to be interesting. I am not a devotee or follower. In fact, I do a lot of research to make sure that I'm not latching on to any of that thelemic current myself, because I think that Crowley was again, interesting guy, very bright, but really screwed up. like bad screwed up person.
You'd have to be.
Yeah,
to be.
I
And,
agree.
I mean, he had a body count, so
There were
and it,
times I picked up his I got one book. I remember getting it from like thrift books or something. And I couldn't even touch it for long because I was like, dude, this has like cocaine vibes all over it. I was like, I can't even read this. I just like couldn't even touch it. It was
Do
so
we know? Can
like
we verify that? Like,
I don't know. I
a
don't
lot of
really
them
know.
were on, like, were totally coked out most of the time to kick their heroin addictions. So,
yeah, he
it
was.
is possible.
Well, he was all about the heroin. So
Oh, there you
uh,
go. So,
Yeah, he was different. His astrology book sucked too. It was supposed to be written by somebody else, and it's all like oldie timey kind of. Oh my God, like it's just dumb. It's just dumb. I mean, I couldn't even give you an example because I haven't picked it up in so long. I've just been looking at it like it was just a trophy book. Probably gonna have to sell it.
and
I don't know
and
anybody who'd
people,
want it. I'm out here telling you, don't buy it. It's stupid.
it's Israel Regardie, I mean, he got a job. Like he was a very young man, and he thought Crowley was interesting, and he got a job as a secretary, but he ended up in the Golden Dawn. Now
Yeah.
later on, I think he did go through a course of Thelema, and I think it was only just so he could sort of figure out what it was all about. I mean, he was a game guy, but ultimately, Aleister Crowley and Regardie, I mean, Regardie wrote a scathing indictment of Crowley, so they are not on the same page at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about Crowley. The more I learned about him, I was like, it was
I I know
not
plenty of
cool.
people who are
You know,
way
I did
into.
hear a story about him though, and it was like what, World War One? Was it World War One or World War Two? I don't know because they're all so old, and I didn't stay in school long enough to learn it all. But he, the prime minister of Britain went to him, you know, to do anything to kind of end the war, and Crowley like told him to use the peace sign, and like that's where the peace sign came from. Is that a bullshit story? Did
that
I
sounds
like
like
read?
bullshit. That sounds bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah. I have
I,
I was
I
because I was
frankly
like,
don't
wait a
know.
minute, like I know the internet. It's so
That seems like
great.
a TikTok story where somebody was trying to get people to not use the peace sign, so they like make up some goofy backstory how it's like
Right.
No, they were
evil.
like, it's magic, like
Yeah,
it's so magic. But
that
I
sounds
was
like
like, but
TikTok
wasn't
magic.
Crowley? Wasn't he into dark stuff? I mean, he was banging
N-
goats and
He
shit. Like,
he was
eh.
not a black magician. I know that sounds strange, but by his definition and many others, he was really not a black magician. He was just a screwed up dude, and there's a difference. He
Yeah,
wasn't into
yeah,
baneful magic. He really was not. There is a great book called The Magical Battle of Britain, and it is about Dion Fortune, who was a member of the Golden Dawn, who
yeah.
decided to fight uh, in World War II on a magical basis. And so she was having lots and lots of occult groups in England do rituals all at the same time to influence the war. So the Golden Dawn
I
did that
read
stuff.
one of her books before, and she's pretty interesting. She had some pretty interesting things to say. I was able to pick up some pretty good, like, I don't know, pretty good
Yeah,
material from her.
the
So
Mystical Kabbalah by Dion Fortune is like foundational reading for what I do.
yeah, no, I
Super,
did.
super
That's how
interesting.
I knew I wanted to get into astrology is when I got that far. It was like, okay, this isn't me. But I respect it. I think it's so interesting. Like I just don't have the patience for ritual work. I'm just like, okay, I'll pull like I just want to pull like somebody, like a deity, something, like tell you what I need. And
I,
they'll let me know. They'll like, all right, we'll keep you posted. Like that's kind of how I work.
Um,
I go ahead.
I for the most part, I pass off any ritual magic off to my mom. I think we talked about that one point, but again, I don't know if it was on a live stream or one of our meditation calls, but on some level, I think I can see the value of having somebody else do your spells for you. And I don't know why it works better, and I don't know that it always does, but at least in my case, and with her, it does. But she's also connected to me, so that could be it too. But I stopped doing like so I was in a coven for like, oh God, not 10, it wasn't a full 10 years. It was probably like 7-ish years, 7 or 8 years, I don't know. And it was great. It's great to have like community, and like, even though they weren't necessarily doing my stuff, which is fine. Nobody ever does my stuff, it's fine. I had like, as I observed people like in ritual, and we're predominantly dealing with like neo-pagans, Wiccans and stuff, which they all follow the relatively same system, and it's all really top heavy. It's all like getting into the ritual, and then like you do the actual whatever you came here to do. It takes 5 minutes and then you're done. Then we just go eat, right?
Right.
And it seemed really well, it seems kind of rude. It seemed kind of rude to me. So like,
Tell me about that rudeness. What do you mean?
okay, so and now I don't know, because we talked a little bit about like Golden Dawn stuff and how you're not necessarily working with a personalized deity, but in like neo-paganism, and Wicca in particular, you're working with like the goddess and the god, right?
Right.
So if these are your deities and you're doing a ritual, it's like you're doing a full moon ritual and whatever, where you do like your cakes and ale ceremony and stuff, and then you kind of just you say like whatever, you're honoring whatever god at the time, if you want to do like a minor deity or something, and then you're just done. You're just like, all right, let's go be with ourselves. Well, and like when I did my rituals, and when I still do, so we call them puja now, but it's basically the same thing, whatever culture you want to, shift it over to. There's a little bit of like opening ceremony, it's not real heavy, and then the rest is it's a fucking party. Okay, so like you come to a full moon puja at our house, we're gonna eat with the deities, which I know that's like when you do prasad, you're not supposed to do it that way. First you let the deities eat and then you eat, but I got a different philosophy over here. My philosophy is we're all the same deity. And it's all just an illusion. So like, let's cut out the bullshit, right? And let's just get right to it. So when I pray, I talk to my divine family if I want to talk to like the gods and stuff. So like the actual ritual is the celebration. It's only like 5 minutes of the preparatory stuff, and the rest is interaction and communion with the divine. We play games, we play like board games and stuff with our family. Like we celebrate, we listen to music, we dance, we drum, we do all kinds of cool stuff. And that's the ritual. Right now, if we were trying to do a ritual magic in that setting, like which we couldn't probably call it ritual magic, at least in, Golden
Yeah.
Dawn, like we wouldn't, it probably doesn't really compare. Maybe we'll, do a candle or something. Like we're gonna be like, hey, so and so sick. Can you help out with this? Otherwise, I have a philosophy which I really came to, being in a coven and being around ritual magic really made me, something clicked in my brain. And I really got to the point where, the Taoist philosophy, if whatever you want, you have to let go in order to receive. So like if Nikki, to manifest
Yeah.
your 5th grade crush, you basically don't just stop wanting it, and if it's meant for you, it'll come to you. So like,
That's true, because I did end up dating him in 7th grade for like 2 weeks, and I was like, ew.
well, then I would say your spell worked. It just, maybe just
It was
didn't.
just, yeah, it wasn't meant to be. I was like, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it. No, that was
That
it.
was
So like
it.
that goes back to like
I believe that though. You do have to let things go in order to allow the space to get filled up with something new. Like if you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to get a different job or a new job, and like you're worried about money, well, those things are going to like hold you down and bog you down, and you're not going to think clearly. You're not going to, have those creative energies flow through you to get you where you need to go. Clear your mind.
yes.
Yeah.
The rest will follow.
And I will say this: the outer grades of the Golden Dawn, they're good for you. It's basically like going to the spiritual gym, honestly, because the neophyte grade is literally just to teach you a couple of rituals and get you to memorize a whole lot of correspondences. Like you have to learn Hebrew letters, you have to learn the Sephirot on the Tree of Life, and you learn these things. And then you go into the elemental grades, which is splitting out of the different aspects of you and working with them individually. So the earth grade is focused, in some schools it's focused on Zen actually, and also doing a lot of ritual work with the spirits of the earth, gnomes, things like that. and then you would move on to the various other elemental pieces in succession in order to really, really kind of purify that part of you. And then you go to the Adeptus Minor ceremony, which brings all that stuff together. But for the outer order stuff, it's just the spiritual gym. It's conditioning. It's very, very good for you, I think. But yeah, you have to have patience, and that's the the rituals are about slowly building up certain energies within you and purifying them, and in order to work on the various aspects of you, because that's what it boils down to. Is you're getting seriously in touch with these pieces of you, and doing so in certain ways that also will teach you your limitations. Like, I remember it was bastard hard. I screwed it up so many times. One of the first things you have to do, it's neophyte grade. You write these journal entries, but you cannot use the word I, me, or mine. You simply can't use those words. I cannot tell you how many times I thought for sure my journal entry did not have those words in it. But guess what? There they were. And so it's various, like, there's even more severe versions of that where if you use those words, you're supposed to cut yourself. And I'm not doing that. But
Right. That's
they
extreme.
and that was like early Golden Dawn. They did that, and then they modified it to where you could take an elastic band and put it on your wrist.
Yeah,
And every time you said,
do
"Ah,"
the
you
rubber
would say
band
it.
thing or something.
Yeah, but
Right.
that's just an extreme
Their
example
group members are all cut up. Like, I cut my
Yeah.
face this time. I'm so upset.
Ah. Oh no, I said I've got to do it again.
Ah!
Damn it. But the exercises are intended to show you your limitations in many ways. And part of doing a stupid goofy ass ritual battery every day is like, can you do a ritual battery every day? If you
Yeah.
can't, maybe this
Yeah,
isn't for you.
I totally respect that, and a lot of people need that grounding and structure, in order to stretch the limits. Because
Yeah.
you're right, you can jump into something and open up something psychological in your mind that you never thought you could open up before and go a little crazy. Like we've seen it happen. So, and then
Yeah.
people like they usually just treat it with like drugs or alcohol or something, and then it gets worse. So
I know of a
it's good to
case.
get grounded and have some structure in your practice. So definitely not dismissing it. And I've had to reintroduce myself to like these ritual work and structures like over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't like anybody telling me what to do though.
You're not the boss of me. Well,
Right. I'm like, I know this is good for me, but I'm going to complain the entire time or not do it,
yeah,
just
there are.
rebellious in nature. But there
Yeah.
are some really good ones. During the COVID 2020 lockdown, everybody's going crazy. And I had discovered this a magician. I forgot her name, but she wrote a whole bunch of books called Quoria. She has like this Quoria magic project. Why? I just saw her name and it just went away. Do you know who that is at all, Fryer?
Who?
She's a female magician. She wrote a bunch of books. Quoria.
I've heard the name, and I
You've heard
think I've
it?
been to the website too. Yeah.
McCarthy. McCarthy is her last name. Josephine McCarthy. She wrote all of these books, and let me tell you something. Her first book is probably the best. I ended up either giving it away or selling it or something, but you can pull it up on the internet. It's free. She puts it out there for you to just read. And it was the best thing I did because I practiced all of these things. I was able to go through all of these different modes and use all of these different tools like astrology. And she walks you through doing like vision work and even ritual. And it really helped me decide what path I was going to take. And even in
Yeah.
her book, she'll tell you, you're probably not going to be a magician. You're probably going to not even finish this book. And she was so right. She was so right. I didn't
I
even
didn't
finish the
even finish
series.
the.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, bullshit. I'm so into this. And like, yeah, but it helped me choose a path. It helped show me a path. So, I might joke around about ritual work and everything, but I do have a very private like ritual practice. I just don't talk about it. It's kind of my own thing. I got my
That's good.
own little bubble, my own little thing going on. So, but I respect it. I've never gotten into Israel Regardie's stuff. I mean, I've tried. I've been like reading the book, and I'll be like, okay, I'll do the meditation. What did he say? But when you introduced it in the true art of healing, and you walked me through it, I was like, oh, this is familiar. This is
Yeah.
And that one's been a really, really good one for me.
And the work I do with you, that we do together, it's derived from Golden Dawn almost 100%. But it's a much smaller, more compact, very gentle version, tiny, teeny version of what the Golden Dawn would break out into months and years, right? I'm just doing.
Well, and what I like is that you have the knowledge base to understand where I'm at, to know what I can do and what I can handle, and what works for somebody. And I think that's awesome that you can tailor somebody's practice so well to them, because I literally do struggle with meditation so bad. It's so bad. I just, my mind, it's a disability, but it can also be a superpower when it wants to be. But no, I totally respect those magical practices. I joke around about it, but I mean, come on, though. People like running water through their dirty ass panties, like trying to get somebody to like love them. Oh, that's like really cringy. That's cringe magic.
Well, it's gross.
Yeah,
I mean, unless
that
if you're like you
too.
if you're into that, that's different.
I mean,
If you're like,
if you're into
hey,
it, I mean,
can you make me a cup of tea? Like I'm in for a special cup of tea this morning. That's different, right? But like to not tell someone, that's
Right.
not good.
That's not
I
so
don't know.
ethical, basically, at all.
No.
Ethics, yeah, they're
Come on.
bringing ethics into
Now-
it. Yeah, we have to
now-
practice ethically
Did I break
and
ethics?
hygienically.
Did I break ethics by putting a Saturn spell on the salesman? I kind of did.
Did you though?
If
I'll
it's like
own that.
I don't think so.
That's more of a protection spell, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
you were protecting your family. That's different.
Yeah, that comes from a different place. That's not selfish.
I mean, I try to be careful with these things. And I didn't.
I think
did not.
I think spells work when they do come from that place deep down. When we want to protect, when we want to heal, the things that actually matter. Like spirit doesn't care that you want to get laid really bad. I mean, they do, but I mean, if you're trying
rooting for you, but
they're rooting for you, but
they don't want you to pick something up. You got to be careful.
Right? They care about you. You do have like angels, guides, whatever. They're around you all the time. Trust me. And
I agree.
They're listening, and yeah.
I didn't finish that story actually.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we should finish it.
Just to tell you, the thing that the result that I ended up getting, which worked, was that the salesman was trying to like give this bullshit low ball introductory pricing.
What was he selling?
He was selling flooring.
Oh, okay. Like door to door?
I don't know how they got in contact.
Oh, okay.
What ended up happening was, the guy was like, I'm just talking so much. He ended up basically spilling the beans and saying, this install is not going to cost you, $1,500. It's going to cost you like $5,000 or $6,000. So he spilled the beans on his bullshit pricing. And
because they probably offer the financing. That's probably what it was. Like, oh, but it'll be like this. And I had a guy show up at my house and do that.
I love you. You guys know I love you, and I just have a compulsion to play devil's advocate. Okay, it's not personal.
Do it.
I totally respect everybody's thing. You guys know that, right? And just to clarify, I think it was really good for me to transition out of Catholicism, which is heavily ritualized, into something like neo-paganism, where we're doing ritual magic, even though it's fluffy versions, right? So it definitely I see the value. I don't want to like piss all over it or something. But
Alright.
I do have to
Alright.
ask you, Friar, what if previously, so you're looking at Saturn with the ability to either restrict or remove restrictions, right? That's what you had in your psyche.
Yeah. So
What
yeah.
if you had a personal relationship with Saturn as a deity or an archetype or an energy? Why couldn't you have just been like, Saturn, brother, like hook me up, help my dad, he needs your help right now, like make this guy spill the beans. Couldn't you have just done that?
I did that, but in a more roundabout way because you know me and I love my roundabout ways.
Okay.
I visualized the sigil of Saturn, and I basically brought down a black light and energized the Saturn in me, if you will, and caused that same Saturn that I believe is resident in all of us to resonate in the salesman. So I brought it down for me, and then I sent it to him.
Okay.
And I got that Saturn all tickled up and rocking, and he spilled beans big time. It
Okay.
was beautiful. I mean, I kind of wish you'd been there because it was amazing. I was
Oh,
so
I
happy.
love it.
I believe it. I sure
I
do.
love hearing good Saturn stories. I just love hearing good Saturn
But
stories. You don't
Saturn's
ever
only
hear,
bad. Saturn's just evil.
oh, no, he's not. Like, I
What?
love that. I was actually just reading about him the other day, how he was like a demon slayer. And I was like, that's so badass. What happened to that? His rep is just, they drug it through the mud, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. And well, we had a talk on the meditation call. We were talking about astrology and, oh my God, I forgot where I was going with this, but we did talk about Saturn and we
There
talked
was a
about,
lot of
yeah, we talked
Christian
about a lot of stuff.
medieval influence that went into making Saturn. You still hear about it, him being the Lord of the Rings and Saturn looking, similar in writing to Satan and, all kinds of goofy
That's
stuff.
goofy.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. But I mean, that stuff takes hold and they need something to be afraid of. People love a boogeyman, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he does have a serious tone to him. Saturn, I think, can add some, like a
They
bit of
all
a
do.
seriousness to it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Saturn a little bit more like heavy, but not in the way that they describe him. Just, like if you imagined like what a like demon slayer would look like, like an actual demon slayer, he'd probably be a really like hardcore, stern, like tight-lipped, quiet guy,
Well, I
wouldn't you
don't get,
think?
yeah,
What,
maybe.
well, what
What
about
Buffy?
what did the stories say about
Well,
him? I
that
mean,
was Saturn was
they
Ninurta.
yeah,
That was him. Ninurta was floating around in the sky in the body of Saturn. And he is the basis of Hercules. He went on tons of adventures, like slaying monsters, demons, everything. Um, he at times like he tried to steal the May, which they're the divine powers. He was trying to steal them from Enki. Um, not who knows why, just because he was on adventures, he was on a roll. He's like, I'm fucking crushing it. I'm
yeah,
gonna go after all this stuff, right? So he did have an ego in there. There are some I think we can see some similarities between Mars, Nergal, and Saturn. One
yeah,
being a little bit more like internalized with Nergal, whereas Saturn's more like the expressive, like I'm going to go out and get what I want. But the best way I think to remember Saturn is the constellation of Sagittarius. So that figure, Sagittarius, was Pablo-san, who was just like an avatar of Ninurta. They did all the same stuff. It's basically the same guy, just one, is like his little own mythology kind of branched off, but they were basically married to the same person. It's the same guy. So everything that you get from Sagittarius is basically Saturn. So if we were gonna say like which planet, uh where's he at home, where does he function best? I would say Saturn and Sagittarius is probably it. Because that's literally him. That's like a depiction of him. Um, so when I think of Saturn, I think Sagittarius.
see, I wouldn't have pegged Sagittarius as Saturn at
Why
all.
not?
there's not like that's just not been the talk around Saturn. It
Well,
just
no,
being very,
definitely not.
but definitely not. No, that's why I'm glad we're having this conversation
Not what they
because
say on YouTube.
exactly, I've had to really pull back on all the information I pull in and like what I'm reading and like what I'm listening to, because I'm just some of these practitioners are kind of just full of it and they're really popular, but I just don't. I'm not
They're good
feeling
at
it.
scaring people. They're good at
Yeah.
thumbnails.
So
They
yeah,
make good content,
Yeah.
like they're
and well,
entertaining people.
we had talked about Neptune, and I feel pretty comfortable moving forward with Neptune now because it just didn't add up. Like what everybody says about it, and then all the books, that just doesn't add up to me, and that hasn't been my experience. So Saturn is kind of I'm in the same boat with Saturn where I'm looking at it like, okay, is this just like implanted fear when you read all of this dark stuff about Saturn, or is this what I've really been experiencing with this energy? So I'm sort of in the theory phases, and I'm gonna have to definitely apply Sagittarius to Saturn and see. Because I would have,
Yeah, try
totally
it.
pegged Jupiter. I would have, been like, oh yeah, optimistic, funny, like ha ha ha. Like I don't know, like that's I don't know. That's not Saturn.
I
But is it? I don't know. Now I'm like,
The Jupiter
I'm kind of
Association's
thinking
the
about it.
Greek one. Yeah,
Yeah, it
try it
is.
out. Try it out.
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I think it's important to say that for me, because I was reading all the books and I was trying to figure all the things out. Much like one of our people on our Sunday chat, I think it is important at some point to just find a system that you find most agreeable, plant your flag and try it. Even if there might be some pieces of it that you're like, I don't know, just try it.
Yeah, you got to
Just
test everything. Got to
test
test
it
it out.
out.
Yeah.
Try
Yeah,
it out
absolutely.
and try to ignore the rest as best you can. Just don't dig a million 6-inch holes. Okay, dig one deep one for a while, just for a while.
Well, that's why go back to the beginning
Yeah.
Right.
and start from there and see where it all happened, which, as you guys know, I definitely go through in the Ancient Astrology course, which the link is in the description.
Link in
Yeah.
If you're interested
description.
out there.
Buy my program.
I absolutely love your notes. I haven't had time to sit and listen to our videos. I've just been going through the notes that you also get with the course. So incredible stuff. Like we went through it fast and it's hard
Yeah,
to
there's so
remember.
much
And
more in the notes. Like I did
there
not have time to go into all that stuff.
and it is amazing. So that's actually what I've been going through this past week is just looking at all of your notes. So it's been awesome.
Well, I'm glad it's helpful.
I do got to get going, guys. I was only supposed to be on an hour. I kind of
Hey,
stretched it a
well,
little
it's good
bit.
to see you. Have fun.
Yes, it was great talking with you guys, and I'll see you around.
If you have to get mad, tell them we'll plug their stuff. We don't care.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I just don't want the video to get flagged because it's cannabis,
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to cause
yeah.
any problems, but yeah.
Well, if anybody out there's in the Green Bay area, you need a
Yeah,
connection, talk to Nikki.
yeah,
Her contact information's in the
And
video
if you
description.
if you want a
absolutely, yes.
reading,
That's
if
right.
you want a reading,
Yeah,
I'm
we
getting
can talk
mine
about that
Saturday.
too. I'm excited. I'm
I
so
know, me
excited.
too.
I didn't even look at your chart. I'm not going to do it
Yeah,
till like
don't
maybe
look
the
at
day
it.
before. Maybe the day before.
Don't
Maybe
even look at it. Just
Yeah.
swing it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just raw dog it.
That's right.
Just swing it.
as ever.
No notes, no nothing.
Okay.
All right. Seriously, I gotta go. All right.
go.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
Yep.
Do we have anything else in the chat?
We have Bootsy being bad.
Uh-oh. Like how
Yeah.
bad?
He
He
said,
wants that tea. He wants that special
and
tea.
in point of fact, he says, "Is that what I did wrong the last time? Note to self: make sure they're dirty."
Right.
Yes. So I'll be having coffee when I visit with Bootsy.
Uh-oh. Well, just watch him make it, okay? Oh, not like with him. You mean like virtually, right?
I do intend to visit
Oh,
because he's
okay.
not that, he doesn't live all that far away from me.
Okay.
So I would like to visit where he lives is absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
It's a wonderful place, especially in the fall.
I'll trust your judgment. Isn't he
It's
around
a
Atlanta, didn't he say?
He's in the mountains actually. He's in there, there's a portion of the Appalachians that's in Georgia, and
Yeah, I
he's
lived in Georgia.
y- y-
I
yeah, so
did.
I've spent time in various parts of Georgia, and it varies. It varies. I enjoyed my time at Road Atlanta. That was a blast.
I'm very biased. I don't like to be anywhere that I can't run around barefoot, and you can't run barefoot in Georgia. There's
Yeah,
fire ants.
the
There's
fire
like
ants.
there's chiggers. With a CH is what I said,
Yes,
just so everyone knows.
right.
Chiggers. That's what I said.
Sugar
That
lice.
burrow
Yes.
into your skin. Oh, nasty. So they got the Spanish moss, and they like fall on
Uh-huh.
you. Ticks. I mean, I guess they got ticks everywhere, but still. So yeah, but I definitely
Yeah.
found where my body resonates here in the Ural Mountains, where it's cold in the
Right.
winter. Cold.
So yes, that said, I would like to visit Bootsy at some point because he's not so far away.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, gotta check out one of his comedy shows.
I do like I need to do the do. It's
How come
again.
those aren't online? I didn't see those. Does he got those posted somewhere else?
Ooh, good question. That could be some sort of legal whatever. I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah, because it's a performance,
Oh, okay.
and that can yeah.
Okay.
Either that or maybe he will hear your words and say, "That's a great idea. I never thought to do that."
Yeah. We should
And
definitely
suddenly
get those online.
they'll be on the onlines. Okay, wait. There's more Bootsy.
Okay.
He says, I need assistance. Anytime, would love to have you. I'm in Athens, actually. So
So not the mountains?
it's hilly. It's certainly
Oh,
hilly.
okay.
I've been to Athens, and it was a heck of a lot hillier than I expected, I must say.
Okay. Well, I was in Macon. It's like swamps. It's gross. It's not very much fun.
I've been to Macon. I had the most fascinating Thanksgiving in Macon with my Indian side of the family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we had the best Thanksgiving dinner I've ever had, man, because it
I'm
was like
so
a
glad.
combo. Yeah, it was neat.
There's no wind in Macon. There's no wind in like that area of Georgia. There's just not. So, and like I grew up in Michigan, and because of the lakes, there's always a breeze. Like at least a minimum of breeze, if not just wind. So it was a weird thing. It was better than Mississippi. I was in Biloxi for a while, and that's where like
Ooh,
the sweat does not evaporate.
correct.
It just drips off of you nonstop, and
That's what high summer is like here, and I don't
not a
love
fan.
it. Not cool. I call that swamp nuts season for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not okay.
No, not into that.
No, not a bit. Oh, Bootsy says there's some on my website, and I assume that means comedy performances.
Okay, well I have to check it
So-
out.
And also, people should be going to Bootsy's site anyway.
Yeah,
He's got lots of free stuff on there because he's generous like that, and
that's
he's written
good.
a lot
That's
of
a good
things.
sign.
Yeah, no, Bootsy's a great guy. We love our Bootsy.
When you meet someone who's not just trying to like totally get all your money,
No, and
actually seem like they're interested in helping you on some level.
he is
Always a
welcome
plus.
back to this show anytime, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
we got time. We got space.
We
Whenever you want to jump on, just let us know.
we're rolling in it.
Yeah, if you're free on a Wednesday. You got anything else, Brad?
I don't.
I don't
I think
either.
we had a really good show actually. I liked
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, they're all good.
They're all good.
I think this time I've been trying to figure out if I want to snip them. I tried that the first week and then I ended up snipping a bunch and then I didn't even post them. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know about that. Like if I'm going to do this work and then the next day I've already lost interest, I don't know, like I want to commit to that. But I think
That's
I
fair.
will go through and start time stamping them because like in the first couple of ones we did, we kind of were all over the place, but we seem to have kind of gotten into a rhythm of sticking to a topic before we just totally go off on a tangent into some other area. So I think like this time, I'll timestamp some stuff because I go through and listen to them anyways. I might as well timestamp it. It's not hard.
Okay. More from Bootsy. He says mountains are about an hour from here. Some really fun sketches on there and some old stand-up. I don't publish a lot of stand-up, saving up for a special. Look
Oh,
at
okay.
that. You
See,
heard it here first.
there's a system in place. There's a plan.
Yep. He's got a
Okay.
plan. He's a man with
Makes
a
more
plan. He's
sense.
got, look, he's got the whiteboard. He's got the, he's a
That's
planner.
right. That's right.
INTP probably. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I got. I want to thank everyone in the chat for participating. I want to thank
Yeah.
anyone who's watching this video either live or on the replay. We appreciate it tremendously. And again, if you are interested in anything I do, especially compassionate listening, please check the show notes, get in touch with me. I am eager to work with you.
Yes. Yes. And all my information, SumerianAstrology.com, it's in there. So. All right.
Alrighty.
I'll see you Sunday.
You will.
All right.
All right.
See everybody else Wednesday.
Right
right.
on.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, hold on. I got to figure this out because last time I have not been apparently closing out the live stream correctly. So I'm going to end this and then I'm going to